Okay.
What's going on with you today, Tom? You said you have a beer garden time?
Yeah, it's a friend is. I can't.
I can't.
Who's echoing?
Who's echoing because it's hard.
Oh, we're
I'm
live.
gonna take my headphones out because I can't talk without hearing myself making me go insane. Yeah, it's a friend's farewell. She's moving to LA. She's having a little get together at the Bohemian Beer Gardens in Astoria, which is a nice place. Oh, now I can't hear anything.
And now with Jeffrey, not under the shadow of the Gold Dome because of his reverberation this morning, but I guess we are live. So good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Frank, and hi, the face of Jeff, who's been muted.
Yes.
So welcome to the first installment of today's Speaker's Corner. It's going to be a two-parter, I believe. It'll be Frank. Well, let me introduce the cast we'll be here for this morning. I am here in lovely Queens, New York, and my name is Thom. And to my left, which may actually be your right, because I don't know how these screens work, is Mr. Frank Heathington. Say hello, Frank.
Bonjour, everybody.
Bonjour, Frank. And as always, the master, our Spinderella, the queen of the steel. I don't know. Ziggy, Michelle, running the dials, making us look good and sound good, which is a full-time job because it's a lot to make us look good and sound good. So, as I said, this is going to be a part one, part two type deal. Jeff can't really participate this morning, but he's going to have a rebuttal. Not that this is a debate or anything, but he's going to have a rebuttal to whatever the hell we decided to talk about this morning. He has not seen these topics. He has not approved of these topics, and more than likely he will dislike all of these topics. But we're going to go ahead and hit that anyway. Sound good, Frank?
It sounds amazing to me, and I have an amazing bit of trivia that's kind of relevant to what we were talking about.
I'm going to let you guys do this. I'm going to let you guys do this, and I'm going to check back in after you're done, all right?
Sounds good. Peace out, man.
All right, see ya.
So for the random piece of trivia for today, Jeff had a lock-picking device at his place yesterday. Not that I'm condoning lock-picking, but it's a good way to pass the time, I guess, if you have idle hands. And we were talking about the ridges that go into a lock.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the random bits of trivia I get from my Twitter feed every day was pertaining to the grooves on certain things that are prevalent in our life. One of those being a quarter. Tom, how many grooves are in a quarter?
Let me guess and say 360.
Lower than you would think.
Oh, lower than that?
Yeah, the actual. You want me to give you the actual number? We want one more
Yeah.
guess? 201.
201. That's a really random. I just figured there might be one for each degree, and that's why I was going with a 360. But I guess 201 grooves on the side of a quarter.
And that is your random bit of trivia for today.
That's about as random as we can get. Yeah. Fascinating though.
I
don't know.
You know what really segues into this?
What does?
Because you need a lot of quarters for Planned Parenthood.
That wasn't our next topic, but yeah, you need a lot of quarters.
Well, you got to think about it. Think about it. If you are planning to have a child, don't you need a lot of money? Isn't that Planned Parenthood? Or am I completely wrong on that? And you're blinking at me like, shut up, Frank. So I guess that was a completely wrong.
I guess when you are planning to be a parent and raise a child, there might be some fiscal investment.
Like lots of quarters with lots of ridges.
But so you're half right. Kids cost money.
So
Michelle's backing me up. She's backing you up. She says kids cost money.
Explain like on 5 what is Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood is a series of clinics across the country that are funded both through federally funded and also by people like you and me. donating money. It's a little bit, much like an NPR type thing. But really what it does is it provides affordable care to communities. A lot of times, people who don't have health insurance, who don't have access to a lot of the services or can't get the services provided, they'll do like sliding scales. So basically, people who can afford to pay more will pay more, and people who can't will pay less, so that they can all meet together. There's a popular perception that they just do abortions, and that's incorrect. Are you messing with me, Michelle? So they do a lot of. No, they are not. They're not abortion mills. I'm gonna. Okay, I'm getting the winky face. So while they do provide reproductive health care all the way up to providing abortions, they'll do a lot of other things, be it breast cancer screening or just general OBGYN reproductive health needs.
Okay, so I got a question for you then.
Yes.
How much of a percentage of their services go towards abortions, would you think?
You're the master of numbers.
The correct answer is 3% of total services.
3% of total services.
And this is coming from factcheck.org. So if you don't trust me, go trust the internet. But the group does receive federal funding, but the money cannot be used for abortions by law. Right. So there you go. So now we know more than the 16 candidates for the Republican Party for president. At least I do. Taxpayer funding in the 2008-2009 annual report, it received $363 million in government grants and contracts. That's about 1/3 of its total revenue for the fiscal year ending in 2009. So a lot of people, there's a misnomer. So a lot of people think that money is derived from federal government. Most of its funding come from two sources. So the Title X Family Planning Program and Medicaid. About $70 million is from Title X funding, and the rest, about $293 million, is from Medicaid funding. So.
Now, of course, the reason why we're talking about this morning is obviously Planned Parenthood is in the news, very much front page, regarding some videos. I believe they were Breitbart videos. Correct me if I'm wrong. Between covert recordings of a lunch conversation where a Planned Parenthood representative and a higher level administrator, frankly, and kind of as it was edited and shown in kind of less than borderline callous tones, talked about the tissue donation. There'll be a link in the showcase for those to catch up on it. This video was recorded, I think, more than a year ago, released recently. It's gone viral and has led to a lot of candidates and a lot of people in the public calling for defunding of Planned Parenthood. Even Planned Parenthood admitted that the woman spoke incorrectly, and as the video was shown, was not accurate to what Planned Parenthood does. I mean, there was an implication that they profited from the sale of fetal tissue, which the director of Planned Parenthood came out and strongly denounced and said was incorrect. But, video gets out, and that's what people believe.
And that's the whole key right there. Federal law already prevents Planned Parenthood from using the money it receives specifically for abortion. And is that whole echo chamber effect occurring again, the misnomer that you kind of get that gray area of news thinking, okay, this person said this, so it must be true, and then all of a sudden you have all these different quote-unquote pundits on the right thinking and saying and reverberating the idea that federal money is going towards abortions, which is not the case. That's just my 2 cents.
It's a good 2 cents.
That's all I'm saying.
It's what people, anything that can be done to be politically expedient.
But something is happening. We just don't know what.
Something is happening. We just don't know what. But the reality is, as Ziggy's reminding me, she the woman in the video, whose name escapes me, or I never had it, so I can't say it escaped me, was flippant with her words. and spoke incorrectly and wrongly, and so a lot of the reaction is against someone saying things that were incorrect.
Ugh. Well, apparently there's supposed to be more videos this week, so tune in next week for this continuing segment, I guess.
There's always more videos.
So I had a question about the next topic that's on our docket, if you don't mind. So, what about Dre?
What about Dre?
What is MF? So this is manufacturers act like they forgot about Dre. That's our. I don't. Are we talking about the new Dr. Dre movie that's out right now?
We could be talking about both things. But first, there is the NWA movie, Straight Outta Compton, the biographical, or it's dramatic biographical film of the rise of Eazy-E, Ice Cube, and Dr. Dre. And on top of that, Dre announced that for the first time in 15 years, he's releasing a new album.
Has it been 15 years?
15 years. That's not scary.
Well, it's because we've got Kanye West now.
So you're blaming Kanye? He drove Dre underground?
He drove Dre underground. Blame it on
man.
Kanye.
Blame it on the Kanye?
Jeez. Dr. Dre. So what is your favorite Public Enemy song, Thomas?
I mean, we could just go with Fuck the Police.
Oh, God. Now, I would say, I believe they are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I probably, yeah.
I think they're one of the first inductee classes to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I don't know. It's just that I don't know what album that was. I've just seen clips of it on the TV. That's the advertisements for the movie. But all of those songs resonate from even though I'm a child of the late '80s, early '90s. That music still resonates with me. It's just just growing up, that angst. That obviously I'm not a black man, but just the angst of it as an artist, as the artistry of it. I'm not even talking about the social, political, economical background of things from Compton in the late 90s around the Rodney King beating and all that kind of stuff that was going on, and living in the streets and the Crips and the Hoods and the fights between those and the constant people getting killed. Not talking about all that stuff, but just the artistry behind it, like putting rap on pretty much mainstream. I would have to say those guys are the Beatles of rap. I would have to say they're the Beatles of rap.
The Beatles of rap.
Yep, I'm gonna go.
So does that make Public Enemy the Rolling Stones of rap?
I thought Public Enemy was NWA. Maybe
No.
that was their album. Wasn't their album was Public Enemy? That's what I was thinking. Their first album was Public Enemy.
I thought the first album was Straight Outta Compton.
Shows you what I know.
So we have been corrected. They were inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2013. Not one of the first classes. Their albums were Straight Outta Compton and N-Word for Life. I won't. No.
So Public Enemy was a rap group. That was
Public Enemy was Chuck D, Flava Flav,
and Flavor Flav. That's right. I'm getting my groups mixed up in my head. I'm getting old.
Yeah.
Dang it.
And whereas Public Enemy kind of took a more, Chuck D was talking a lot about social, political issues, economic issues facing the black community. Was potentially, you could argue, was coming at it from a more cerebral approach, whereas NWA was coming at it was much more of that visceral anger.
Full throttle in your face. Mm-hmm. This is why I'm dropping the mic right in front of you.
Yeah. So that's why I kind of did the. If you're going to call them the Beatles, maybe I'll call them the Stones.
I don't know. You can draw parallels.
I don't know if you can.
I think they've sold more records than the Beatles. Not.
All right, so we're gonna move on from Dre, Ice Cube, Eazy-E. Go see the movie.
Go see the movie. I will go see the movie. I will go see the movie.
All right, so I'm gonna do. Moving on to this is my favorite section: things that pissed Thom off that probably shouldn't piss Thom off.
Oh boy!
And it's going to be at the register insurance officer offers. So
What?
I went into Best Buy last Thursday.
What was wrong with you? Why were you going to Best Buy? What were you possibly looking for?
I
to go to
needed
Best Buy?
I needed some cheap headphones on the fly. Like I needed some, because I needed was going to the gym. I needed some like $11, $12 headphones. It's probably the first time I went to Best Buy in over a year. So I'm buying these $13 headphones, and they're trying to upsell me and get the insurance on it. It's good for 2 years. Replace the headphones. Hey, I'm on my third pair, and I'm like, look, I'm not paying $4 for insurance on a $13 pair of headphones. I'm going to take the risk. But the fact that this guy was hard selling me, pushing me.
So, are you checking out and he's hard selling you on the insurance?
Mm-hmm.
So can I? Are you sure, sir? Are you sure that you do not want the insurance on these?
Yeah.
Skull candy earbuds for you? Were they Skull Candy? I'm just guessing. That's the only brand that I know of.
They're JVC or Sony. I don't remember. They're
sure,
these.
Sir, are you sure that you do not want the $4 insurance package on these headphones? Why don't you want that? Why don't you want those, sir?
Because it's just,
sir.
Now you're starting. I'm retro. I've got some transference anger now. I'm getting pissed off at you.
So that's kind of how the conversation went, right there.
Exactly.
I'm summoning the conversation. And
now, it shouldn't piss me off because he's doing his job. He's got to make the sale, but making me feel like I was in the wrong and doing something stupid, which is what he was kind of like. Well, 2 years. You're gonna be back in here. Those. I'm like, stop. Just shut up and let me.
Did they have the thick accent too? You're gonna be back in here in 2 weeks anyway. You have no idea what you're talking about. I know these things. Come on, they're all made in China. You don't know what they're making.
Yeah, it pissed me off.
Things that pick Thom off.
Also pissed me off was I got an Asshat for the week.
Oh boy, let's do it.
We're going back to politics, and this is why I don't heart Huckabees.
What?
Throwback to the film. So Mike Huckabee making, what is it? There's reductio absurdum. This is reductio Hitlerium. Where you basically make This was him saying that the Iran deal was putting Israel one step closer to the ovens. Something along those lines. And it just was like, good fucking God, man, really?
How can people... This is the whole thing again, where most people in America do not follow the news. I'm going to say 90% of the Americans do not follow the news on a regular basis.
Okay.
They're gonna see the occasional headline. But this is kind of one of those important things that are out there that is not getting broadcast, because this goes back to what I was just saying about misinformation in the media. You have a bunch of people on the right that are quote unquote pundits that are saying certain things, and Mike Huckabee and his handlers are the same way, and they're putting something out there, and for his base, they will probably support him on that comment. They will. I would say he has a very strong evangelical base. So they will support him on those comments, but they have no context whatsoever.
No.
To the deal that got passed.
No.
To a deal that has to be passed by the Senate in order to be ratified.
It's just it's not even like playing low ball. It's just cheap ball. It's just, and I understand that he's floundering in the basement. He's not in the top 10, right? So he's probably not going to be currently in the debates.
In the CNN polls of polls, he's 5th.
Oh, is he really?
He's 5th right now.
All right, so maybe he will be at the debates.
So, for my curiosity, when is the first debate? Because
I believe it's November.
I am licking my chops on this. I have no idea.
It's either October or November. There's one in the fall.
To me, this is just like playoff baseball. To me, like I get more enjoyment out of watching the debates than I do a playoff baseball game.
Wow.
But it's not. It does not surpass playoff college football.
No, nothing ever could.
Nothing ever does.
Well, I think that's all I got for today. Frank, you got anything else you need to...
I got a random country.
Yes.
But Tom's going to get this. Tom's going to get this. But I'm gonna throw out 3 nuggets of facts.
Okay.
And then this is our segment for the week. I haven't had the random country in multiple months. I don't feel like.
No.
So here we go. The Colin. This is how I have to stump Thom. The calling code for this country is 977.
All right.
You see, he's stumped already. He doesn't have a clue. The percentage of water in this country is 2.8%. And the religion is 80% Hindu. What country am I?
So, is it India?
Not India.
And
And I'll
the
give you
UAE.
I'll give you one more hint. Where was it? It had to do where it was located. It is UTC plus 5.25 of an hour.
UTC plus. It's Sri Lanka.
Getting closer, it would be Nepal.
Nepal. I didn't. I guess I never stopped to think about it being a Hindu country.
And I loved, by the way, my favorite flag of all the countries in the world is the Nepalese flag. Just saying. And I said Nepalese correctly. Wow. High five for me.
Viva Nepal. Nepal. Nepal.
Yep. So there you go. Random country of the day. You got your Asshat of the day. We have a Huckabee reference. Planned Parenthood. All together in one on this wonderful, glorious... Glorious? I said illustrious podcast. See, we even got illustrious in there, since neither one of us are under the shadow of the Gold Dome this week.
No.
But in spirit, Jeffrey Wheeler is.
So, just thank you, Frank, for the wrap-up, and just a reminder that you don't have to think like me.
You don't have to think like me. You don't have to think like me. I don't think.
But we ask that you do think. See you next week.
See how I summoned Jeff on that. You like how I did that?
It was very good.
I know.